25 years ago, in the opening scene of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, a Republic cruiser carrying two important Jedi ambassadors was dispatched to negotiate an end to the Trade Federation blockade of Naboo. What better way to celebrate the 25th anniversary of Episode 1 than with a review comparison video of the 2007 Republic cruiser and its predecessor, the 2011 Republic frigate. Hey everyone, Anthony Clex here. Today I'm going to be showing you two super iconic sets. I can't wait to get into the video. But before we start, I just wanted to ask if you guys could drop a like and subscribe. I'm going for 1,000 subscribers this year. It would mean the world to me. I hope you enjoy this review comparison video, and happy 25th anniversary to all those Episode 1 fans. Let's get right into this review. In this comparison, we'll cover minifigures, play features, overall design, value for your money, and how well the set displays, with my opinion at the end. To kick it off, we'll start with some general information on both of these sets. The Republic Cruiser, set number 7665, released in 2007 and retired shortly the year after in 2008. Included were 5 minifigures, all of them being exclusive. This set has 919 pieces and retailed for $89.99. Even though the Republic Cruiser only gets a few moments of screen time in the movie, it's still such an important part of Star Wars history because it is the very first ship we see in Star Wars if you watch it in chronological order. For that fact, and because of how well LEGO did designing it, this 2007 set will always be iconic. The Republic Frigate. Set number 7964, released in 2011 and retired in 2012. It included 5 figures, 4 that are unique. The frigate has 1,015 pieces and originally retailed for $119.99 US. The LEGO Republic Frigate is one of the greatest sets to come out of the Clone Wars line, which is honestly saying something considering all of the Clone Wars sets are truly amazing. Onto the minifigures. The Republic Cruiser came with a astromech droid R2-R7. And surprisingly, it's the most expensive figure in this set. It had a very simple but elegant green printing to it. I think it's a very good looking astromech droid. I mean, at the end of the day, it is just an astromech droid. Next is the Republic Captain, also known as Aoi Madakor. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. This figure in particular is not necessarily extremely accurate. She is actually supposed to have brown hair, which is not a huge deal for this type of figure. This is technically an unnamed figure, so on the set they actually call her just Republic Captain. It uses the dark blue legs with no leg printing and a very simple torso with just a belt. Next figure is the Republic Pilot. This one was also technically an unnamed figure. It's just Republic Pilot, but we do know that his actual name is Antidar Williams. And again, he has the dark blue legs with light blue torso with a very simple printing. Probably the most exciting figure to talk about in this lineup is that Qui-Gon Jinn minifigure. So some releases of this set featured an Obi-Wan Kenobi Episode 3 head. It was accidentally used in place of a new flesh-colored Qui-Gon Jinn head that they had created specifically for this set. Unfortunately, in my copy of this Republic Cruiser, I received the Obi-Wan head. So in order to fix this problem, I believe you can contact LEGO Company's customer service. This was a mess up by the LEGO Company. I just think that's pretty interesting and definitely a cool little fact. Again, this is a very simple figure. I do like the brown cape and the brown hood. I think that looks very good on this figure. And he's got a very nice looking mustache and just 2 black dots for his eyes. Overall, a very good looking Qui-Gon in my opinion. So this is basically teenager Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's got the brown hood and cape just like his master Qui-Gon. Obviously, he's got the same tan legs and even the exact same torso, so nothing exclusive about that. Overall, I think the minifigures in this set were perfect for the time. Nostalgia obviously plays a huge part in this, and I absolutely love these figures. I loved this set as a kid, and these figures mean a lot to me, so I would still give them probably an 8 out of 10. This Commander Wolf is from season 2 of the Clone Wars series. You can tell by his sand blue colorway that he is from season 2. Commander Wolf is the leader of the 104th Legion, and he serves under Jedi Master Plo Koon. Their sigil is the wolf, obviously. That's why they are called the Wolf Pack. Commander Wolf lost his eye fighting Asajj Ventress. So in this Lego figure, they exemplify that perfectly. I think his head printing is very accurate, and I honestly think it looks really, really good. It's probably my favorite part about the whole figure, other than maybe that light sand blue colorway. Obviously, he comes with a pauldron and also a hard plastic cama. He also has the 2 blaster pistols, and he came with extra accessories such as the rangefinder, the antenna, and also the 2 flashlights. If you were to buy this figure today, it would cost you upwards of $120 used or $140 new. The next figure is Eth Koth. This Jedi features in a season 2 arc where he is kidnapped by General Grievous. His headpiece is actually a rubber headpiece, just like Yoda's or even Plo Koon's. And this figure is a Zobrath, just like Darth Maul. So he actually features horns on his head. He has a pretty simple torso printing with no leg printing at all. He's a pretty simple figure, but one that we've never gotten before or after. Definitely a cool Jedi to add to your collection. Next is an unexclusive Yoda. He actually came in the AAT. This is the light bluish gray hair version of Yoda. And just like Eth Koth, he has a rubber head. Next is the Clone Wars version of Quinlan Vos. Quinlan Vos is, again, a very simple but elegant figure. He's got some interesting face markings. Lego extended his hairpiece into his torso via a print, which I thought was pretty cool. I haven't seen that before. Again, no leg printing or arm printing. And there is another version of this figure in the 2016 Turbo Tank. Honestly, that one's a lot better in my opinion. It was a live action version of him, and it also featured leg printing. Finally, the last figure we get is a Wolfpack Trooper. It features a jetpack and basically the same printings as Commander Wolf does, just with an exclusive helmet piece. The Wolfpack Troopers would eventually all die out except for Commander Wolf, Plo Koon, and a few others. They would eventually adopt a Phase 2 armor, which would be in a gray colorway. Overall, I give these figures a 10 out of 10. Let's talk about the features of each of these sets. So obviously we'll start with the Republic Cruiser. For this being such an old set, it actually has a lot of really interesting features. We'll start with the most obvious feature, which is the cockpit. So this just flips open just like this, and it's just on a hinge piece. A figure easily fits right down inside, and it closes and the figure is in there. It's just a tile piece down here, so he doesn't actually like clip in or anything like that. And he's easily removable. They use this old vent piece just for the control panel. Very simple interior overall. This has an awesome feature where you can actually dislodge the escape pod. So all you have to do is pull the front of this cockpit and it drops the escape pod right down. All that's holding it on is 2 studs, and you could pull off either side and put 2 figures in the escape pod. This one's very simple, but kind of cool. There's this yellow Technic turn dial at the bottom. And if you turn it, it turns the whole radar dish up top. Next, we'll pull off the top part to show you the features inside. The features inside are actually quite simple. So first, you have a nice little sliding mechanism here, which opens this front door and exposes these cannons. You also have a spot where you can put your R2, R7. He just goes right in there. And then as well as a nice little control panel where you could put one of the figures. On this side, you have a small little kind of speeder build. So this would fit one figure on it and you could fly this around. I'm not sure what exactly you would use this for, but it's just a nice little feature that they included. They also included this small little box. Just has a weapon inside and some binoculars. And then the same feature on this side where it's got this sliding mechanism for these hidden cannons. It uses this axle piece to push this tile and it pushes that entire door open, exposing these translucent green cannons. I think this set is really loaded with nice play features. Some of the building techniques kind of hinder it for me. When I'm using some of the features, Lego pieces will just fall off the set. I mean, honestly, just the building techniques are really outdated and the set isn't as sturdy as you would like it to be. Especially as a kid using this set, you're going to find that the escape pod falls apart all the time. You're going to find that those little sliding missiles on the side fall right out. The little speeder build is just a little wonky and it's kind of silly to me. I don't really know what the purpose is of it. I guess a kid would have fun flying that around or something like that. Otherwise, I like the fact that you could fit almost all the figures inside of the set while flying it around. And overall, I think I would give the features a 7.5 out of 10. So the features on this are going to be very similar, but also slightly different just because this is a more attack-minded ship compared to the other one, which is more of a diplomatic cruiser. Obviously, you're going to find a lot more guns on this one. You have the exact same cockpit. There's nothing really different about this one. The only thing that I noticed is that there is no control panel in this cockpit. I think the other one was just slightly better. We have a nice gun up here. I do believe these are flick fire missiles, so these will just, kind of shoot right out. So kind of similar to the other one, there's also an escape pod on the bottom, but the way that you take this one out is by pulling this pin right here. So you pull the pin and it drops the escape pod right to the ground. So on the back section of this ship, there's actually a hatch that you can open up. That's a problem that you're going to find on this particular ship is that a lot of the hatches just break off when you try to open them, as you just saw right there. So this type of hinge piece is very tight and it doesn't like to open. Anyways, there's a spot here, a gunner position for a figure. You can actually put a figure right inside. So we'll test it out with Eth Koth. You could put Eth Koth right inside and then this would just go right over him. And then he can control this gun turret up here. There's also a really nice sticker panel on the inside. So I'm going to show you how these open and you'll just have to see. So every time you open a hatch on this set, it just falls right off. The connection points are super weak and honestly, it's a huge downside of this set. So on the inside here, it's pretty simple, a very simple interior. All you have is this little box for storage. And then you have these missiles right here, or these bombs. So you take these bombs out and you can load them in right here. So you load them in the top. And then when you pull this axle, the bombs drop out the bottom, which I think is a very cool feature. On the other side, let's take off this hatch. Or let's rip it off, apparently. On this side, you could put your Jedi's lightsabers on this carrying handle right here. Just a little extra storage. And then it comes with a really cool hologram of Emperor Palpatine. You guys can see that. When you're sitting around the table, you have some Jedis talking to Emperor Palpatine. I'm not exaggerating when I say this. Every time you open these hatches, they fall off. It is so annoying. I hate these connection points. They do not work at all. The only other play features that I can see are these swivel turrets on the side. It has 4 of them. The bottom ones don't actually swivel. They just go up and down like so. And then last but not least, this is a great feature that I wish the other one had. It's a carrying handle. So I can carry the entire weight of this ship just by this carrying handle. This escape pod is also built way better than the last one. The last one, when I dropped the escape pod, it completely burst into pieces. This one stayed intact, and I could just lift off the top, and it looks like there's plenty of room to put like 3 or 4 figures in here. Overall, I give the features on this set a 9 out of 10. The only downside is the various hatches not working properly and always falling off. It kind of hinders the playability. And as a kid, well, even as an adult, I get very aggravated by those hinges not working. But that's more of a design issue than a feature issue. Now onto the design portion of the review. As far as color goes, I like the red a lot better. I think it's going to really stand out on your shelves, and we don't get a lot of red ships. The red and white always looks really good to me. Gray and red looks great as well, but just not as good as red and white, in my opinion. Another thing this older set has going for itself is it doesn't have any stickers. Whether you think that's a good thing or a bad thing, I personally think it's a good thing. As you can see, some of my stickers on the newer set are starting to peel off, especially there's some bubbles in here and right there. It's actually peeling off pretty good. They look good for a few years, but then they just really start to deteriorate, and I think it takes away from the overall design of the set. Other than that, I really like how this one has a lot of weapons and different turrets and stuff on it. That's definitely a plus for this set. The features on this one are definitely a lot better, and I think the build is better on the newer one. I mean, as it should be, honestly. If it wasn't, I would be very surprised. The hinges on this set are extremely annoying. That deducts so many points for me. Every time I open one of the compartments on this set, it falls right off. On the older set, I did not have that issue at all. The interior on this red one is also better in my opinion. I'm definitely going to give the design to the older Republic cruiser. I think the design on the cruiser is basically perfect. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. And on the Frigate, the only thing that really hinders it is those connection points and all those hinges. I think the interior is also lacking, and the gray color scheme is kind of boring to me. Not to mention the stickers are coming apart. So I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. Let's talk about the value. So the 2007 Republic Cruiser only retailed for $80 compared to this one was $120. Obviously, the value on this one is a lot better just for the fact of saving that money, and I think it looks better. A lot of the features work better. The value was better on this red one. So I think as far as value, I'm going to give this one a 10, and I'm going to give the Frigate a 7 just because it was so expensive. $120 back then is kind of insane. Let's just take the Republic Frigate, for example, and see how it displays. It fits absolutely perfect, and it's going to fill up your entire shelf. It's going to look great. Probably wouldn't put it on the top shelf unless you're really tall. You can't see a lot of the features on the top, which I think are some of the coolest parts. So maybe I would put it on a lower shelf. In comparison to some of the other sets, it looks very nice. So displayability for this one, say probably an 8 out of 10. Let's see how the Republic Cruiser looks on the shelf. So of course, I'm always going to go with the OG set. I love the red and white color scheme, and I think it looks amazing. We don't get a lot of different colored sets. Gray and dark gray sets are completely overdone in Star Wars. So when we get a nice like red and white set like this, I just think really makes a difference on your shelf. If you have just like gray, it's going to look really boring. And I think having a red set up here really makes a nice difference and just looks really great in my opinion. So for displayability, we're going to give the cruiser a 10 out of 10, and for the frigate, we gave it an 8 out of 10. The cruiser ended up scoring higher with a 45 out of 50 score, and the frigate scored 39 out of 50 on my scale. Alright guys, so we're in the last part of the video where I'm just going to tell you guys my overall opinion and which set I would personally choose if I could only buy one of these sets. I think nostalgia plays a big part in this. I'm gonna pick the 2007 Republic Cruiser. The red color really does it for me. As a collector and as someone who wants to display their sets, I think this one just has such an iconic look, just being red and white like this, and it just really sticks out. Also, another big thing for me is the features on the Republic Frigate, the newer set. I really hate that the hinges don't work properly. It actually really does bother me a little bit. This one, the features might be a little bit outdated, but at least they all work for the most part. Yes, when you take the escape pod off, it might burst into pieces. Yes, it's a little bit difficult to take this top panel off. I think overall this is still my favorite. Another thing to mention is that this one was a lot cheaper, and I think still is a lot cheaper, so that matters a lot to me. I like saving money. I don't know about you guys, but I personally would go with the cheaper set. I would say the frigate is a very close second. It is a very good model. The only reason I would say go with that set over this one is if you prefer the figures in that one, which I prefer the figures in that one, but I can only choose one. I'm choosing this one every single time. It kind of tears me up a little bit is that I like the Clone Wars so much more than the Phantom Menace. The figures in the Republic Frigate are better, but for all the reasons I just stated, I still think I would go with this one. Obviously, I'm being very nitpicky, but I have to. I'm just being honest with you guys. Like, it's very close. Honestly, it just depends on what color you like better, what figures you like better, and, you know, some features, I guess. Or if you're not even going to use the features at all and you're just going to put it on the shelf like me, then those features don't matter to you anyway. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It took a very long time for me to edit this. I'm still really new at this YouTube stuff, but seeing your guys' comments on all these videos really keeps me going and just really makes it worth it for me. So if you leave a comment on this video just saying which set you prefer and maybe any critiques that you guys might have of my review, something you disagree with, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next review.